You want me to put that on my todger?
Harry's wife. Tell us about the washing up liquid. Picture the scene. The Monty Shit Show mansion. Harry's dozing off after having smoked a big blunt. Harry's wife is there. And the children, who apparently are Archie and Lilibet, are kneeling on the floor, looking up at her, knowing that the most appropriate thing to do is to feign interest in what she has to say. Otherwise, they will receive the cold shoulder. And therefore they say, Mum, or Mom, tell us again about the time that you brought Procter & Gamble to its knees as an 11-year-old fighting sexism in advertising for Procter & Gamble products. And of course, Harry's wife, more than happy to roll out once again the story that we've heard time and time again, where she purportedly, as an 11-year-old, wrote to the company's chairman and to Hillary Clinton, who was then First Lady, to complain about a slogan promoting dishwashing liquid that said, "Women all over America are fighting greasy pots and pans." And Harry's wife purportedly said that the wording should be changed to "people all over America." Apparently, Procter & Gamble bowed to her protests and changed the line. However, of course, as we know from Tom Bower's meticulous research and the work that was undertaken by Vanity Fair's fact-checkers, they couldn't find any evidence that Harry's wife actually brought about this change. Instead, there was a class project about it. It wasn't her acting on her own. And it would appear that she gained some prominence on Nick News as a consequence of her father, being a lighting producer and connected in those circles, shoving her in front of the cameras and getting her some coverage. As always, of course, doing his best to support his little princess. Harry's wife, of course, through the revision of history and her grandiosity, made it seem like she was the one that had caused Procter & Gamble to change its position and alter the slogan. In actual fact, as the evidence demonstrates, this didn't actually happen. But that's never stopped Harry's wife from continuing to dine out on this tale as proof of her activism. And undoubtedly, she'll bore the arse of anybody who is foolish enough to listen about this purported activism on future occasions. It's no surprise that she's done this, because of course her narcissism makes her believe that in the past, because the world revolves around her, she was the one that brought about this change, and it wasn't as a consequence of anybody else's involvement. And thus, in order to try and assert control over people and draw fuel from them, her narcissism regularly trots this out, because it doesn't have much else to work with, to triangulate people with bringing up the past. So that they go, "Wow, gosh, you're such an activist. We're really impressed by you. Here, have some fuel." Of course, more and more people now doubt the legitimacy of that story. But it keeps getting rolled out by her. Something which Hilary Rose has picked up upon was she observes in the Times about Harry's wife being given the Woman of Vision Award. She writes, "It's been hours now since we've heard from Monty Shit Show, and I was starting to wonder if everything was okay. Has Harry reverted to type and thrown a frat party in the pool house? Have the kids mashed sweet potato into the beige, soft furnishings?" No beige. "And Harry's wife been on her hands and knees with the vanish? And can Harry's wife and Harry still be quite as wonderful as we all remember, living humble lives of service? And, oh look, is that a private jet? And did somebody say tiara?" So, thank heavens then for an organisation called the Ms. Foundation, which has quelled any doubts and confirmed that they are indeed wonderful. The Women of Vision Awards ceremony has just announced that it's giving Harry's wife an award for being, guess what? A woman of vision. I know, about time. Say what you will about the Duchess of Sussex, but she is a woman with a vision. It is true that her vision is found mostly in the mirror, but there are only so many hours in the day, and she has to spend quite a lot of them being furious with the rest of us. A profile on the Foundation's website tells us that she is a feminist. champion of human rights, and gender equity and global role model. Clearly she wrote that herself. And who could put it better than that? Over to you, Camilla. Or perhaps the Princess of Wales is having a crack as we speak. Harry's wife is saluted for her lifelong advocacy for women and girls, which is, we are told, a constant thread she weaves through both humanitarian and business ventures. And quite so. And if we all close our eyes and wish hard enough, she might tell us again about the time she complained about an advert for washing up liquid and changed the course of history. But back to the Ms. Foundation, which explains that her Archetype series of podcasts were record-breaking, which is usefully vague and not necessarily the first word anyone who listened to them would use. Oddly, they didn't ask me what words I might use, so I simply note in passing that there has been a deafening silence where talk of a second series should be. This is odd, because deafening silences aren't really Harry and Harry's wife's thing. Maybe they're building up to one. And really, who wouldn't want another series listening to interesting people being shut down so we can hear about the washing up liquid again? Until then, if you long for more, the Foundation is charging $1,500 for a ticket to the ceremony in New York on May the 16th and $15,000 for a table. There, you can watch the People's Duchess presented with her award by her dear friend Gloria Steinem. She will be celebrated for her global advocacy to empower and advocate on behalf of women and girls. A magnificent sentiment in search of a meaning. If anyone is tempted to ponder the irony that Steinem has a feminist platform because of her ideas, and Harry's wife has one because of her husband, don't. Rejoice instead that the awards don't clash with the coronation, so we could be in for a double dose of Harry and Harry's wife, and no rush for the RSVP guys. It's only a coronation after all, and the seating plan for Westminster Abbey has been extended just in case. You're in the National Car Park in Lambeth. A delicious slab of sarcasm there from Hilary Rose, once again demonstrating a credible and serious journalist has no truck with Harry's wife, and once again calls out her various contradictions. It demonstrates, of course, how nobody really takes her seriously, other than those that are in receipt of the money that she has. Other people see her for what she is, an individual that is desperate to remain in the headlines, desperate to maintain a position on the global stage, but actually has nothing other than the fact that she's married to a prince to cause people to have any interest in her whatsoever. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.